telling us quite clearly, Yogaschita vritti nirodha. It is telling us that yoga is the suspension of the transformation of the thinking principle. Listen to this carefully. Yoga is yoga is the transformation is the suspension of the transformation of the thinking principle. If a thought is already started, you can do very little about it. It is just like holding the pistol in your hand and you pull the trigger. Once the bullet shoots out there, very little you can do to bring it back. Because it's gone. And it is going to hit the target, regardless of what it is, because that bullet do not discriminate. You might feel sorry after, but it is already done. The action is taken. You see? So we must know how to suspend that thought. Before it goes. Suspension is very important. Because if you do not know the technique of suspending it, you can't do anything about it. It is just like a car. The car has, a gearbox. And when we want to change speed, we have to suspend the functioning of that gearbox. And if we don't know how to do that and we want to push and change again, we will just mash the gearbox up. Right? So that is why they put the gearbox in the car, so that you can suspend the activities of the gearbox and change your speed. Particularly when you want to go backwards or forwards. So we have the manual transmission and now we have the automatic. But in any case, there is a brief period of that suspension. It is the same thing with the functioning of the mind. The mind is functioning. You have one thought, you have two, and that's how it is. And the velocity of the mind is tremendous. The velocity of the mind, the capability of the mind, the power of the mind is fantastic. 99.99% of the people don't know this function, this velocity, how to control it, how to use it, how to concentrate it. Because we spend all that time outside. We want to do this, we want to do that, we want to go here, we want to come here, we want to go into business, we want to become billionaires. And so we spend all our time outside utilizing that energy. And then the mind becomes weak. Your mind needs energy to function. And when that energy becomes low, when it runs out, the mind becomes tired. It cannot think properly, and you go to sleep. You go to sleep not because you need sleep. You know this idea that what the doctors are telling us, you must sleep 8 hours a day, is rubbish. There are some people who sleep up to 16 hours a day and they are still not weak. The point is that if you are using up energy faster than you can supply, there must be a breakdown. So you go to sleep not because you want to sleep, but because the mind needs energy to function. And sleeping is a process of getting the mind near the source of energy. Near the source of energy. Not direct in contact with the energy. Near. And during sleep, it gets to that state and it absorbs the energy from the source. And as soon as the mind is regenerated enough energy, you win. You don't need an alarm clock. And if your body or the mind does not get enough energy, and you wake up before that regenerating period, you feel very hazy. The mind is not functioning as it should. It doesn't have the awareness it needs. And sometimes that takes sometimes up to a few hours so that the person begins to be back normal. So we have to know, right, how to get the mind to a conscious contact with the source, so that it will be getting energy from the unlimited source. Right? Then you don't need sleep. It is only ignorant people sleep. Right? Of course, it's a very strong word to use, right? When I have a PhD degree in that, and when I have a goodness knows what in this, in engineering, and I'm a doctor, a lawyer, goodness knows, and but here we are speaking from the standpoint of wisdom. And when we are using the word illumination, right? And if that something is illumined, there's no room to sleep. But when it is not there, you sleep.
Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu